In Ghana's low-income urban areas, the sanitation situation is pretty dire. A shocking 85% of Ghanaians lack access to adequate toilet facilities. That means they often have to relieve themselves in public places. And that is having a negative consequence both on the health of the population and the environment. One company called Wash Kings is offering a solution: eco-friendly biodigester toilets. Yes, indeed. Check this out.
After a week of work, the biodigester is ready. Around 100 of these eco-friendly toilets have already been built in and around Accra. Their inventor, Dounia Mebtoul, is supervising the construction of a toilet for a community compound at the outskirts of Accra.
This is the base of the digester, and later we'll come and fix the various materials that will work on the physics.
The toilet needs little water, and that's important as water is scarce in Ghana. And this is how the biodigester works.
As I said, you wash your hand. So the wastewater that you wash your hand with will go inside.
The toilets require little more than half a liter of flushing water. Liquids and solids are separated. An enzyme is added to the solid waste to help it degrade more quickly. Dounia Mebtoul studied conservation and resource management. He made it his goal to provide widespread access to clean toilets.
Accessing toilet was really a challenge. Sometimes you have to go to a bush where you expose yourself to a lot of risk. The risk of somebody maybe watching you, and also being bitten by snakes.
Whereas over 80% of the Ghanaians have access to clean water, fewer than 20% have access to clean toilets, and that's according to the World Health Organization. Generally, you have to pay to use public toilets, and they are frequently not very hygienic. Often, trucks dump the waste collected into the sea, posing another health risk. The alternative for most Ghanaians, defecation in the open, also hardly an attractive option. The biodigester was mainly invented for lower-income households, but the toilets are not cheap. They range in cost from around $400 to $900 Michael Ablo and his fellow residents were able to finance it.
This is a compound house. We have about 50, we have about 70 or 60 in the house, and we've mounted 3, which means that 3 will share among us. So 15 people are using one room, which is beneficial to the house.
And there are more benefits. Local people working here can earn a steady income as well as learning transferable skills. More than 20 people have already been trained.
Now I've been working with Wash King. It has been helping me a lot, look after my wife, my children. I've been able to pay my children's school fees, pay my bills, pay everything about the house. I've been able to do everything.
Dounia Mebtoul set up his company 2 years ago. Last year, the enterprise won an award for integrating social and environmental benefits into its business model.
Now let's talk about food safety. Today, many processed foods come with a sell-by date. In Europe, the law forbids supermarkets to leave products on shelves once they've expired. Yes, that's what sell-by date means. That means it expires at a certain time. The problem is, unless we're talking about raw meat or other perishables, the food can still be consumed without any risk. Restaurants have a similar problem. What to do with leftovers that are still good enough to eat when it's time to close the kitchen for the day? A young woman in France is doing something about it. She's doing her bit to counteract the throwaway culture, and it is a concept that's catching on.
Solidarity fridges. 88 million tons of food are wasted in Europe every year. That amounts to 173 kilos per person. Dounia Mebtoul owns a restaurant in Paris. She wanted an alternative to throwing unsold food away. In June 2017, she set up a Solidary fridge in front of her restaurant. Inspired by a concept from Berlin, the idea is simple. Anyone can take food from the fridge or add to it. Fruits and vegetables and all kinds of packed produce are welcome. The fridges are financed with the help of crowdfunding campaigns. They can be set up in just 5 minutes. Now the fridges are spreading across France. A message to the foodies of the world. To be more aware of the impact of their consumption.
Do you like that? If you are also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
For centuries, lots of people here in Africa lived on the plants and animals that they found or hunted in the forest. They only took what they needed to survive. Fast forward to present day. Many of those same areas are now national parks established primarily to protect the animals, especially the endangered ones that are found within them, from falling prey to poachers. The Koroub National Park in Cameroon is a good example.
Rangers patrol Koroub National Park in southwestern Cameroon practically round the clock. It's their job to protect the surviving animals from poachers. People have been living in this area for centuries. Hunting for food has a long tradition here.
When you bring the meat inside the house, they will feel very, very happy. And when you don't have anything like that, they will not be happy. That's our own tradition here, they will see. Because we cannot be eating empty food.
But now, many animals in Cameroon are threatened with extinction. Rangers and conservationists use camera traps to record the dwindling populations in Koroub National Park. In particular, primates like chimpanzees and drill monkeys are endangered. They are hunted for food or sold on illegally. This is often the only chance that people living in and around the national park have to earn money. But in the village of Erat, things are different. The head of the national park has come to visit. He's given a ceremonial welcome. People here used to be involved in the illegal bushmeat trade. But now the villagers cooperate with the park rangers. The inhabitants benefit from sticking to conservation rules. Solar power, for instance, was introduced to the village in return.
This time, making the local people become the center of conservation efforts. So for the first time, we were consulted at every stages. We now became convinced of the fact that we could have different ways of earning a living inside the national park.
Like former hunter John Ekpo, for example, hunting had become increasingly strenuous for the 59-year-old. Nowadays, he cultivates bananas, cocoa beans, and mangoes. The conservationists would like to persuade more hunters to follow his example. His family today enjoys a higher standard of living than they did in the past. I earn more than 100,000 francs. I think I could plant even more land because it's very easy money. The harvesting is very easy. You just break the cocoa beans, lay them out to dry in the sun and sell them. It's not as hard as hunting. I used to have a lot of problems with that. In the community hall, the head of the village announces a ban on hunting. All family heads have agreed to the measures and the sanctions attached. 10 men are handing over their guns to the conservationists. The village is getting 10 motorcycles in exchange. The first men are already receiving driving lessons. They used to be hunters. Now they will be able to earn their living as couriers or taxi drivers. This trek through the rainforest is quite new. A bridge is under construction too. On foot, it takes 6 hours to reach the next village. And sometimes when the river rises, it's impossible. Better access will enable people to sell their goods at the market. But John Ekpo is hoping the route through the forest will remain just a dirt track. He fears that a proper road could attract illegal loggers. Korop Forest is a friend of mine. If this forest disappears, I might even die myself. I also can disappear. The conservation program has shown inhabitants that environmental protection can help them thrive too.
Well, we've come to the end of this edition of Eco Africa. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Till we come your way again, same time next week for more interesting and fascinating stories from across Africa and Europe. Thank you for watching. You can get in touch with us on our social media platforms. Our addresses will be showing at the final credits. Until next week, it's goodbye from the beautiful Shodex Garden in Lagos, Nigeria. Bye-bye.